Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another teardown video, where in today's video we are going to be taking out the disk drive. Now funnily enough, this PS4 is a problem with the disk drive in that the disk drive keeps beeping and it won't take in disks at all. So on top of it being loud, which we did in the video before, we are now going to take out the disk drive, which is the only component we didn't take out before. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this. Again, you're going to need TR8 screwdriver, some Phillips screwdrivers, tweezers and pliers. So as always, the first thing that we are going to go ahead and do is take off this panel. Just kidding, we don't need to take off that panel. What we're going to do is we're going to go take straight here and take out the bottom screws, because the disk drive is located at the bottom. Now for this, there isn't too many screws, but again, what I would recommend is getting a piece of tissue, so that way you're not losing track of any screws that you're taking out, because again, there are a bit of screws, and you just don't want to really lose them or lose track of any of them, because that would be quite bad to be losing a screw. I mean, assuming you've got most of the screws and everything's in place, it doesn't really matter too much, but at the same time, you just want to make sure that everything's there, so that way everything is as securely attached as possible. You don't want to be losing anything. So again, just place it down. If you just pull up on the sides, it should come out very easily. As you can see, it's it's still a bit dusty. It's not as clean as I would like, but after cleaning it yesterday, this is about as clean as this PS4 is going to get. It was just very dirty. As you can see, it's a lot more cleaner now, so hopefully when we run it, it'll be a lot more quieter. The next step is to take your tweezers, take out the ribbon cable by pressing on this metal part. It would go down, and then that will allow you to essentially wiggle out this cable. Again, going to make sure you want to push down, so that way when you're pulling it out, you can see that the connectors are still attached to the ribbon cable. You've done it wrong if you see that the connector has actually been ripped off, essentially, but this one is fine. The next thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is take off this connector here. It's actually really not a nice position, but there is a connector there that you will need to go ahead and take out. It's this one right here. It's like the power supply connector. So there we are, we've got it wiggled out. Remember to connect the white part. You're pulling out the white part, not the yellow part, so just be wary of that. The next step is we're going to take out some screws that are holding the power supply, the disk drive in place. So there's this screw, there's this screw, it's holding the Wi-Fi antenna cable. Here we are. You can just take it out of that connector part, lay it to one side. Got another screw here. We've also got another screw in there. Take out the T8 one, not the Phillips one. And then you can take out this Phillips screw here. There we are. That's all the screws done. So after you've taken out all the screws, the disk drive should hopefully just come straight out. There shouldn't really be anything holding it together once you've taken out all those screws. And so here you can see the disk drive. So up close and person, I don't actually see anything wrong with this, besides from it being dirty, which is a bit strange. I would hope that there was, you know, the missing piece or something, but yeah, it just seems to be dirty. So let me go ahead and just clean that, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. Once you've got the disk drive out, you're going to want to take out one screw, and one screw. So go ahead and do that now. I think I may need to get a smaller screw actually. So I don't think I'm going to take it out with this one. It's just too small. My one's too big, unfortunately. Okay, so I found a small screwdriver to take out these Phillips screws. Okay, there we are. So we've taken out the 3 screws, and as you can see, this bit should just slide right out. There we are. So that's this bit here. I'm going to set that to one side so we can inspect the disk drive. So guys, after closely inspecting the disk drive, unfortunately I just can't see any problem with this disk drive at all. You know, like the spring mechanics, they all work fine. As you can see, there's no crooked pieces. You know, it flexes really smoothly. There's no friction or any sort of really loose piece. Now that bit's supposed to jiggle around anyway, I think. The springs are fine. It's just everything just seems great here. You know, if you guys see any problems, please do let me know, but I just see absolutely nothing wrong with this disk drive, at least this piece here. You know, everything just seems to be working fine. So this piece is good. Then you've also got this piece here. You know, again, I just see absolutely nothing wrong with the disk drive. You know, the rollers are, you know, good. They're a little bit sticky. I did clean them. But again, I just see absolutely nothing wrong. There's no any sort of, you know, really loose piece. You know, you can hear obviously rattling, but there's nothing like that could indicate any sort of loose piece. This bit goes down. The rollers, you know, they're fine. I've turned this. There was no disc in here, so honestly, I'm not too sure at all what's wrong with this disk drive. I'm beginning to think maybe the disk drive is faulty somewhere, and you know, you just can't be fixed. But yeah, I just see absolutely no problems with this disk drive at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it put back together, and then as a YouTube comment, I'll let you guys know if the disk drive was working, because really I didn't do anything. I just took it apart, took that piece off, inspected it, cleaned the rollers, and that's really it. Cleaning them, I cleaned them with some wipes and then turned that so that I can get it all the way. But really I haven't done anything besides from that, and I just, again, like, I've watched videos, I've gone on Reddit, gone on Google, and I just see absolutely no problems with this disk drive. So I'm gonna go get it put back all together. I'm gonna show the whole process. So we just get the disk drive, we slot it in. There's a little indicator tab there that kind of like guides it in, so you know you've got it in correctly when all the screws and stuff are aligned again. So as you can see, it's all aligned, so we can get our Phillips screws, our very, very small annoying Phillips screws, and we can just go ahead and put them back in like so. That's good. So yeah, I was very, very annoyed. I was hoping that there would be, you know, some sort of loose piece that's maybe stuck in there that doesn't belong, maybe a coin, a card, piece of paper, but I just didn't see anything in there that, you know, doesn't belong there. Everything just looks fine. But again, obviously, if you guys think that there's a problem, do let me know. But yeah, fortunately, that's all really. Get these Phillips screws. Guards, and they're tight. It's not really coming out anytime on its own. Just securely fasten everything. There we go. That's the disk drive being as tight as it possibly can. Again, there's just, I see absolutely nothing wrong with this disk drive that could indicate why it's not working. But yeah, it's time to go ahead and put this back in. When you're putting it back in, be a bit more careful with this. So remember, keep those cables like that. But then you've also got this metal panel which essentially it slides over this. And you've got another one here which does the exact same thing. You want it to slide over. So this is a bit difficult to show, but you're gonna want to make sure that this metal panel goes over. This is going to be very, very annoying. It should nicely slot into place. There we go. That's leave. There we go. There we go. It's got no movement at all. So now we can go ahead and put in all the screws, all the cables that we took out. So I'm going to start with the Phillips screwdriver. Truly do hate Phillips screws after all doing all this teardown business and whatnot, but yeah, Phillips screws are just the worst. It's just especially the screws that they used. It's just, the screws are so small. It's just, you know, it's just ridiculously hard. Let me know if you guys ever have those problems as well. The screws are just so small and it's just, it feels like it's impossible to just put them back in. Hope that's just not me talking gibberish or whatever, but the Torx screws are just significantly better in every way. Don't forget the antennae. Should fit back in place like that. Just go ahead and screw that back down. Don't forget to actually slot it back, which I believe I've gone ahead and done. Absolutely just, it's a bit stupid on my part. Yep, see, I've gone ahead and just screwed it in already without making sure that the cable actually is out. So I'm going to need to lift that up, take out the Wi-Fi cable. Oh, this is very, very annoying. There we go. Hope I haven't damaged it. That would be very, very annoying. We'll know when the Wi-Fi connectivity works. If it doesn't, then unfortunately I've just gone ahead and damaged it. I think I may have screwed it on, but nevertheless, let's go and get back to it. So we can go ahead and put the screws back in. Where have I gone ahead and put that Phillips screw now? There we go, it's in place. Okay, so there it is. See what I mean? I hate Phillips screws. I really, really do hate them. When I put this thing back together, I really do hope that the disk drive works, because if it doesn't, I may just have to try and buy a replacement, because you know, PS4 disk drives are very, very important. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, just get games digitally, but the problem with that is there's a lot of problems. One is that if your account gets banned, that's your game license gone. You can't sell the game if you don't want to play it again. You can't give it to a friend. And it just doesn't feel like you own it. It just feels like you're kind of renting it, and the moment something goes wrong, Sony's going to be on your case. So, you know, disk drives are just something that I believe everyone should take seriously. I think everyone should encourage it. You know, like, yes, having online games is nice, but you know, having disc-based games just makes it feel like you actually own the items. So not sure. To each their own, I guess. Okay, so after all the screws are annoyingly in place, we can go ahead and put in the connectors. This cable here is probably going to be a bit more fiddly, but it should, once you've lined it up with the connector inside, should hopefully just kind of like slot in place. Again, this is probably going to be a bit difficult because it's kind of like out of reach, but you should be able to just slot it back in place with a bit of difficulty. This is probably the hardest bit. It's actually getting this cable in back, but once you go ahead and do that, it should just slot back in. Okay. This cable's being a bit difficult. There we go. It's gone ahead and snugged in there. Next up is the ribbon cable. Remember to press down on this metal part, like so. And this ribbon cable should just get in place, like so. There we are. Now we can go ahead and put the bottom cover on. So it just snaps in place really easily, and you can go ahead and put your screws back on. So that is essentially how we take apart the disk drive. You know, if you ever notice any grinding noise or if the disk drive isn't taking it, that's how you essentially diagnose. Again, with this one, I just didn't see any problems at all, any physical problems. So once I put this PS4 back together, I'll try and factory reset. I'll try rebuilding the database, and I would try and look on Reddit for any other solutions that I didn't yet come across. But again, if you guys know what the problem is with this disk drive, do let me know. Again, the problem with this is that one, it doesn't take in discs, and two, it keeps beeping. So yeah, that's the problem with this. And it was also very loud, but obviously hopefully I've resolved that. But the disk drive, unfortunately, I just didn't see any problems with it. So that's how you take about the disk drive, guys. Hopefully this video has helped you. If not, do let me know as to why it didn't, so that I could improve. But nevertheless, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in another teardown video. Bye.